Don't be scared, homie. Grill, subscribe, and it's an absolute banger to kick off this London card, Meat Boy. And honestly, this could probably be any fight to kick off this card. It would be a banger compared to last week's card, but nonetheless, we got Joel Alvarez, El Phenomenano as a -200 favorite, taking on the bone crusher Marc Diakese, who is 16-6. He's won 2 of his last 3. Got those wins over Slava Claus and Damir Hadzovic after that, but the most recent performance up against Michael Johnson, he was trying to implement the takedown game that he's essentially been developing throughout the last few years, and it just didn't work. And as a result, Michael Johnson just kind of picked him apart on the feet. And it was interesting because Marc Diakese was this bone-crushing sniper of a puncher, and now suddenly became a wrestler, and I guess that just kind of ran out against MJ. But El Phenomenano had won 4 straight himself, but he just got absolutely smoked by Arman Tsarukyan, and it's crazy to think that that was like a year and a half ago. I mean, it was a bad loss, and it was one that really showcased the level difference of Arman Tsarukyan versus Joel Alvarez. I mean, he really just beat him up pretty badly, like Yair Rodriguez versus Frankie Edgar style. It was rough, but nonetheless, Alvarez has some decent wins. Beat Thiago Moises, he finished him, Joe Duffy, and his only other UFC loss was to Damir Ismagulov in a pretty close fight. So we know Alvarez as a huge lightweight, right? He's like 6'3", cuts a lot of weight, usually misses weight as a result, but the dude is strong, he's very well-rounded, and he's got that gnarly jiu-jitsu game when on the mat. So what are your thoughts on how this one plays out? Do you think that this is a nice setback as far as doesn't have to face the Arman Tsarukyans and is going to the Bone Crushers of the division to maybe get back on track? Or is Bone Crusher in front of his hometown crowd going to surprise again?
Yeah, you know, this is a very good fight, fun fight, but I gotta go with the Spaniard, Joel Alvarez. You know, both these guys are coming off a loss. It makes sense why he is the slight favorite. You know, his size, his skill, his ability. An upset could happen, but I just don't see it happening. I'm thinking a KO or a submission in the first, maybe second round. I don't see, if this goes the distance, I'll be mind blown, to be honest. This is gonna be a banger, very fun fight.
Yeah, and all of Joel Alvarez's UFC finishes except one are in the first round, right? So we've seen him have success and have some success early, and we've also seen Marc Diakese lose by finish in the first round. I mean, I think back to that fight against Rafael Alves where he got absolutely smoked, and Dan Hooker did the same thing to him in a round as well. So maybe Joel Alvarez inside the first round isn't the craziest thing. I mean, he's definitely going to have the size advantage, and on the mat, you definitely think he can submit him down there if it gets there, but for as long as this fight's on the feet, how do you anticipate this fight unfolding? Like, do you see Diakese having his way with Alvarez? Is Alvarez going to showcase some refined stand-up? I mean, he's been working with Otman Azaitar, Mr. Potato Head, and those Moroccan meat boys. So maybe the stand-up is a little bit better. Who do you see having the stand-up advantage while it's on the feet?
Yeah, you know, that's a good one. You know, it should be, you know, the Bone Crusher, but with his little reach and little size compared to Joel Alvarez, I don't know. I think Joel Alvarez is going to have the advantage everywhere this goes.
I kind of buy that too, and 88% of Tapology seen it the same way. Most of it is copper for the sub, so maybe it's a club and sub type situation, but nonetheless, Tapology is pretty bullish on Joel Alvarez, and I'm going to be taking Alvarez as well. I think he should be able to get this one done. Maybe it's a little bit closer than we think, though, and perhaps it goes, you know, maybe it even goes the distance if Marc Diakese can somehow survive, but I think I do kind of lean with you that Alvarez gets this one done early, because if Joel Alvarez is as good as a lot of us thought he was, then he should be able to steamroll Marc Diakese and be able to do it early and often, but if he's not as good as we thought he was, then maybe this is a little bit closer than we're thinking. But I'm going Joel Alvarez. I'll go by finish as well. Any last thoughts?
No, there's the fun fight. Throw in the comments who you taking and why. Make sure to smash me, subscribe, check out the other videos.